I am calling the meeting to the State of the City meeting to order. The time is 7:01. Agenda item number 1, call to the pledges of allegiance. Yes, Steve. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for its sake, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. Congratulations to thee, Texas. One state, under God, one indivisible. Thank you. Agenda item number 2, presentation of Mayor's annual State of the City message and goals for 2025. Thank you all for being here. And the message is that I am going to read from my prepared message. State of the City and goals for 2025. City of Stafford, Texas, January 29, 2025. My fellow Staffordians, 1 year and 7 months ago, you have trusted me to be your mayor, which was a history-making in Stafford. I am honored and humbled by your selection. I can assure you that I will not be a typical politician. I strongly believe that all elected positions are to make the community better, not for self-serving. I welcome all those who are here in person, especially Honorable Mayor Pro Tem Miss Alice Chen, Honorable Council members Ms. Virginia Rosas, Mr. Xavier Herrera, Mr. William Basic. Chris Caldwell is not going to be here, that's what I heard, Mr. Tim Wood. Let me also welcome our legal counsel, Ms. Bridget Beagle. I don't think Bob Jones is here. And also let me welcome Mr. Brian Blum of FM Squared. For me, the most valuable asset of the city are its employees working in different departments. These departments are managed by the police chief, Richard Ramirez, the fire chief, Larry D. Camello, the city administration, the city secretary, Ms. Roxanne Benitez, CFO, Ms. Alkasha, Public Works, Mr. Kyle Young, Mr. Chanel, Human Resource, Ms. Chanel Garcia, IT, Mr. Ryan Young, Multimedia, Mr. Robert Frith, Court, Honorable Judge Sinclair, Ms. Nicole Wynn, Civic Center and Stafford Center, Ms. Susan Riggs. All the employees are dedicated, efficient, productive, and cost-conscious. Let us now glance through the different departments. Police Department. The Police Department under Chief Richard Ramirez had a productive year. Continued volunteering Meals on Wheels, 498 meals delivered. Sergeant Rolong received a life-saving award while doing Meals on Wheels. Received 30,666 different calls for the services. A total of 4,043 criminal investigations conducted. Arrested 1 suspect for sex trafficking, recovered 2 victims of sex trafficking. Large operation conducted for food stamp fraud, arrested several suspects, cleared numerous cases. Large operations in burglary of motor vehicle, suspect identified for over 20 BMV, arrest warrants issued. Patrol dispatched to shots fired called determined that it was an aggravated robbery and the suspect was located and arrested. Fire Department. The department is headed by Chief Larry DiCamello. They had 4,922 incident responses, 57% EMS related and 43% fire related. Average response time was 6.13 minutes. Incidents per day average 13.44. Provided assistance to other agencies 123. Created 6 new firefighter positions. Created 3 battalion chief positions. Information technology. This department is headed by Mr. Ryan Young. The department implemented city-wide optic network. Most city facilities went from a single 100 megabytes to dual 10 gigabytes connections. Backup internet moved from 60 megabytes to 1 gigabytes. Now phone services come from 2 completely different providers. Implemented a zero trust framework on cities network. New network switches were implemented. New wireless access points were implemented. This year, IT started the project to replace the city's core and access layer switching. Finance Department. The Finance Department is headed by Chief Financial Officer Alka Shah and is responsible for budget preparation, budget management, payroll, procurement, grant management, accounts payable and receivable, investments, and overseeing the financial audit. The city has received an unmodified or clean audit opinion, which is the highest level of opinion we can achieve. This reflects not only our commitment to transparency, but also our strong conservative financial management practices. As a result of our diligent efforts, the city has successfully maintained its A2 bond rating. This is a testament to the hard work everyone has put in and the effective guidance provided by our elected officials. Additionally, I want to highlight the outstanding performance under the leadership of our Chief Financial Officer, Alka Shah. Her team, thanks to their strategic initiatives, the city earned an impressive $2.2 million in additional investment income over the past year. These accomplishments reflect our collective commitment to the financial excellence and responsibility. Thank you all for your continued hard work and dedication. Administration Department. This department is headed by the City Secretary, Ms. Roxanne Benitez, Assistant Secretary, Ms. Chandra Phillips, and the Administrative Services Coordinator, Rochelle Worthington. This department maintains all city ordinances, resolutions, historical as well as processes public information requests. They also put together agendas and minutes for all City Council, Stafford Economic Development Corporation, SEDC, and Council committee meetings. In addition, the Administration Department is responsible for all city election. Ms. Benitez serves as an election official. The City Secretary and her staff have done an excellent job of continuing to streamline the processes. As a result of their increased productivity, they are able to reduce the expenses. They continue to be successful in effectively communicating with the public and citizens of Stafford. Human Resources. The HR department is responsible for a variety of functions, which include employee relations, compensation and benefits, employee training and safety, recruiting and performance management. The HR worked with the Texas Municipal Retirement System to implement the restricted prior service benefit to the city's retirement program. The Employee Engagement Group successfully organized Veterans Day recognition, the Employee Appreciation Dinner, our first pumpkin decorating contest, and Christmas decorating contest. Currently, we have a total of 246 employees. Like I said before, the employees are our real asset of the city. They are the one making the things happen. Civic Center. The Civic Center is managed by Susan Riggs, Miss Susan Riggs. The 38-year-old building can accommodate 900 guests. Ms. Ricks is also managing the swimming pool, which offers pool parties and swim lessons in the morning and the evening during the summer. Stafford Economic Development Corporation, SEDC. The Stafford Center is entering its 21st year of operation. Ms. Susan Ricks is also managing the Stafford Center along with the contractor, Mr. Brian Blum of FM Squared. The SEDC is headed by President Mr. Randy Cran. Other members of SEDC are Vice President Mr. Damon Leonetti, Treasurer Ms. Gwen Goodwin, Mayor Ken Matthew, Councilman Mr. William Bostic, previous council members Mr. Robert Sorbet and Mr. A.J. Honore. Several national and international artists perform at this center. In 2024, the city of Stafford has hosted our inaugural Juneteenth celebration and continuing to do so every year. Planning and Zoning Commission. Ms. Lana Hosing is the chairperson. Other members are Dr. Matthew Weiraman, Mr. Clint Mendenza, Mr. Aldrin George, Mr. Kenneth Grant, Mr. Cliff Copperwaite, Mr. Greg Holsapple. The body is the one recommending to grant permits based on the zoning regulations. Multimedia. Multimedia Department, under the leadership of Director Robert Frith, has continued its strong growth, communicating important information about the safety and security. The city's website is constantly updated, keeping the public informed. Along with the consistent posting of vital information on the website, social media, and city's municipal TV channel, SME TV, and have reinstated the city's emergency radio station and can now broadcast live from City Hall's Emergency Operations Center in times of crisis. They tirelessly update and maintain the city's video, audio, and transmission equipments and have done so with no impact to the budget. Director Frith and Houston Community College representatives renegotiated and restructured the interlocal agreement the city had with HCC for decades, which resulted in significant savings for the city annually. They have also moved master control from HCC to the City Hall, offering most accessibility to manage our SME TV signal in cases of failure and maintenance. Public Works Department. The department is led by Mr. Kyle Young. Their emphasis is to provide excellent and effective services to the residents and businesses. He, along with Mr. Scott McElrath, Mr. Otis Brown, Ms. Laura Morales, and Mr. Thomas Kuhn, are responsible for helping Stafford carry on its planning and development mission. The department is comprised of permits, inspections, planning, zoning, and economic development services. The following are the highlights. In 2025, general street repair project estimated at $2 million, 15 streets to be repaired by the city, and for an additional 13 streets, the city has requested assistance from Fort Bend County. Bids are due on February 5th, 2025. Number 2, Pike Road construction project estimated at $4.6 million to remove the existing 2-lane asphalt road and construct a 3-lane curb and gutter concrete road approximately 2,400 linear feet long. Number 3, responded to 2 natural disasters, Hurricane Beryl and Winter Storm Enzo. They sanded 11 bridges and installed barricades in several areas including Highway 59 and Highway 90A due to dangerous icing conditions. The department helped and coordinated the removal of 7,325 cubic yards of vegetative debris, trees, limbs, and brush, and a total of 971 cubic yards of construction debris, fencing, and construction materials. Number 4, in 2024, the department issued 1,610 building permits, conducted 5,191 inspections, addressed 919 code enforcement cases, and handled 33 animals. Municipal Court Department. Judge Deborah Sinclair presides over the court, and Ms. Nicole Wynn, along with her staff, facilitates the daily operations. The court department continues to operate on a full scale. The court department continues to use Zoom proceedings in special circumstances, like the defendants are ill or out of town. It is continuing with its evening dockets on the second and fourth Tuesday of each month at 5 p.m. SMSD. As we all know, the school is a component entity of the city. The theme "We Are One" is very appropriate. The gem of the school is STEM Magnet Academy, where there is a waiting list to get admitted. The superintendent of SMSD is Dr. Robert Bostic. Under his leadership and guidance, the school has been doing better and better. The goals for 2025. 1. Maintain zero property tax. Since 1995, for nearly 30 years, the city had done away with the property tax. Looking at the cash balance, called the fund balance, there is no urgency for reimposing the property tax. The following numbers will clearly lead us to say no property tax. The numbers that I'm going to give you right now, for fiscal year 2021, we had a total fund balance of 14.5 million, which includes city 6.6 million, SEDC 7.9 million. The following year, in fiscal year 2022, that total increased to 22 million from 14.5 million. The next year, in fiscal year 2023, it further increased to 25.2 million from 22 million. In fiscal year 2024, still it increased to 32.5 million from 25.2 million. The city's portion out of 32.5 million is 14.5 million, which came from 6.6 million in 2021. SEDC, fiscal year 24, is 18 million, which came from 7.9 million in 2021. If you do not have property tax in 2021, what is the justification for imposing property tax now? Right now, the city alone has 7.5 million more than the fiscal year 2021, which is 120% more or more than doubled. If we take the total including SEDC, the difference for the same period is 18 million more, which is 125% higher. Let me quote what the previous mayor, Honorable Cecil Willis, said at the State of the City message on January 25th, 2023. He said, "So, count me as a no vote for property tax in the city of Stafford. Let me also say the same thing. Count me also as a no vote for property tax in city of Stafford." 2. Infrastructure. Maintain the streets and sidewalks in a better condition and improve the drainage system to reduce flooding and standing water. Number 3, attract sales tax generating businesses like retail businesses. Sales tax is the lifeline of our city. Number 4, support new subdivisions to attract young families that will be beneficial for the school and the city. Their children will mostly choose to go to SMSD, and mostly they will shop locally, which will bring more sales tax to the city. 5, revitalize the island area. The island area is the capital of the city of Stafford. Looking clean and beautiful will increase the image of our city. Number 6, eliminate wasteful spending. There are areas where we can find wasteful spending in governmental bureaucracy. 7, diversity. Our city can take pride in having all the major races proportionally balanced. All major races are around 25%. It is better to have that balance. We are very proud to be in Stafford. In concluding, let me say, let us stand together as united for the purpose of building a still better future for our beloved city. It is the people who have given us that responsibility. We should not disappoint them. As we have seen from the numbers that I have provided, our city is not broke. Our unique city is well and vibrant. Let me take this opportunity to thank all 246 employees. They are the ones doing the work, making the city better. I appreciate their dedication, their hard work, their efficiency. Let me all thank the people of Stafford, all Staffordians, for giving the entire City Council the opportunity to serve you all. So my slogan is going to be, let us stand united, let us stand together so that we can achieve a lot of things. Respectively submitted by Ken Matthew, the Mayor. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Floyd. Let me read the next agenda item. Agenda item number 3, questions and comments from the public regarding Mayor's annual State of the City message and goals for 2025, 5 minutes per person.
Mayor, Council, good evening. Good evening to the department heads, my neighbors here in the audience. So I feel like tonight's the night that we should have heard a little bit about what the priorities of the year is going to be. And we heard something about, started with the no property tax. We're committed to that in 2025. That's been said, and I want to voice my disagreement to that. And the reason why I need to voice my disagreement is last year, just a few months ago, we, the public, listened to everybody that's sitting right here, and they listed item after item after item that they need for their departments. We listened to the training that they can't afford. We listened to the equipment that they can't afford, the improvements to our city facilities that they can't afford. And each one of you all said, like, I would love to do this. I would love to be able to vote yes and give these departments what they need. But we couldn't do it. Y'all couldn't do it because the money's not there. We listened to the fund balance numbers again and again. The fund balance numbers require context. A lot of that money is encumbered. We're either going to go nuclear, we're going to get rid of our policy, our good financial policy that says that we hold some of that money for a rainy day, or we're going to listen to the numbers and not do anything. Look, property taxes, they're an ugly thing, objectively. Nobody likes them. I don't like them, right? But here's the fact. That's the only option. The state of Texas says property tax, sales tax. You got a couple other things on the table. The state says that. The Constitution says that. State law says it. You can't go off and make up new sources of revenue. It's property tax. It's sales tax. We have the sales tax. And we could move some of those numbers around, take a little bit from the EDC, or we get rid of the EDC. Nobody wants to get rid of EDC. But we got to look at a responsible way to implement some kind of way to bring the money in here. And I was really hoping that tonight would be the night that we would hear that. I was really hoping that tonight would be the night that maybe we'd have some kind of, I mean, everything after that looked pretty good, right? Revitalize the island, build up the infrastructure. Those are nice things we would all love to see happen, but there's no money for them. And I think it's unfortunate that we did not get the accurate picture, that the people here in the audience, my neighbors here in the audience, that took their night to be here and listen to the state of our city should have heard what the truth is. Not that those were lies, but there's context that's required. There was no lies, but there's context missing. And we should have been able to have that tonight. We should have been able to hear that. The television audience should have been able to hear that. There's a lot of things that we need to be looking at seriously this year. There's people who work for this city. They work very hard. 246, was that the number? That's a lot of people that work really hard for this city. They deserve a quality of life when they come to work. They need to be given the support from the administration to do their jobs. The public needs to be served by the permits department and the inspectors, but if there's no money for that, we heard it last time, we're falling behind. The life-saving equipment that our first responders require, we don't have it. We have no plan to get it. We just kind of spent the year talking about how we'd like to do it, but tonight was really the opportunity to lay this out for the public. We got an IT department that's got a lot of really good things going on, a lot of really good people that work there, but you know, I remember last year the list of equipment that was old, it's 20 years old, servers. I mean, everything's on the computer. What are we going to do when the IT department, the servers go down? People can't get their services. The CAD doesn't work. You know, those are serious things. Those are things that are going to have a real impact on our community when they go down. And if we don't get serious this year, the state of the city is we need to get serious about fixing the city. We need to get serious about the future of the city. That's the state of the city. And I'll just conclude with this. I look forward to working with you all this year. And thank you to the Stafford Municipal School District for allowing all of us to be in their beautiful facility tonight. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Anybody else?
Good evening, Mayor, Council, all of our city officials who are here. Clintman Nonsa, 12343 Fern Meadow Drive. I know I've addressed you all many times, either at these city meetings as well as at city council meetings. I really like what I'm hearing about the plans, but what I'm really hoping for, if not at the next town meeting, because that's a year away, maybe at some of these city council meetings, I'd really like to hear some more detail about how we're going to implement these plans. Diversity is great. Improving the island's great. Maintaining zero property tax is great. Bringing in sales tax from businesses is great. But I hear this year after year, every time I've been here for the past 8 years now. And I never hear the how we're going to get there. And I think the citizens would like to hear that. I know that one of the things serving on the Planning and Zoning Commission that we do is we've been pushing back very heavily against the idea of more warehouses right there along Murphy Road. And many of y'all backed that up when yet another warehouse came forward to put themselves right there in a place that would be great for retail business. We've talked about the island, but are we planning on buying up some of these businesses, or at least the land, so we can start making changes to the property when the right time comes? I don't really see the details in that. I understand some of it is just the money is not there to make these moves, but at least if the citizens have an idea, the residents have an idea of what the plan is, we can collectively start to work towards that. I've talked to Councilman Bostic about like a business network or his plans for a chamber and how we could, get businesses working together to help the city accomplish what we want to do, the same way that businesses get together and help the school district when we have a fundraiser, or when we have an event, or when we have the community center and we're asking for sponsors to come put their names on some of the rooms. We can get there, we can do that, but we need to have more details and not just a general goal. One of the other things I'd really, really like to see, I get it. You're not part-time, but have other things to do. You have day jobs. You get paid what works out to less than minimum wage for the hours that y'all put in. But sometimes it's really hard to get answers. And as a resident, that can be very frustrating. There was a lot of messy dialogue last year with the whole property tax situation. I felt that every time I asked a question, I was either routed to, hey, go watch the last city council meeting. It's like, oh, great. I have to sit through 4 hours of video to find this one sentence answer that I'm looking for. And sometimes because of how long that meeting went, I mean, the IT department or the media department's still cutting it, and a week later it's not visible. Or, hey, go check the file on the website. I did that. I downloaded everything and went over it over 6 hours the night before the council meeting, and then I show up to the council meeting, and what's actually being presented and discussed has very different numbers from what was on the website. I don't know what to do with that as a resident. I can't, that doesn't instill confidence in me when we're trying to put something forward. I'm one of thousands of residents who is in that gray area. I love the idea of no property tax. I was brought to Stafford in part because that made buying a home and owning a home here more affordable. But realistically, long term, I'm not sure that's viable, and I think we need a plan that maybe eases one in with heavy restrictions so that those who are opposed to it might be open to the possibility. I don't think that putting like $1 million exemption for seniors is the answer necessarily, because that exemption might get some of them to vote for it, and it can just as easily get cut back with another 4-3 vote. I think there's a lot of room for improvement when it comes to communication, getting the word out. I would love to see more interactive town halls. Too many times when we have an event like this, or when the school district's having something, the meetings feel like we're being talked at. There's a pre-prepared presentation, we get a few minutes to say our bit, and then it's like the questions don't always get answered. Oh, we'll get back to you, we'll email you, okay, I don't feel like I got the whole point that I came here for. And I'm not saying that's happening tonight. I know the format for tonight. But I think some more interactive sessions, we've talked about maybe doing that with some of the HOAs or with the community organizations in town, maybe some of the churches and other groups. We can really start getting more buy-in from the residents on anything that we want to accomplish. I want to reach out and just commend several of the people here, whether it's Roxanne or Laura or Chief DiCamillo, people who have been really monitoring what's going on social media. Either they're posting publicly when they see an issue, or like Chief DiCamillo, he saw something that I posted that was factually incorrect. He pulled me aside privately and said, hey, there was a couple of things wrong here. And I immediately went and fixed what I said. Like, hey, this is what I said, this is the truth. Let's get it corrected, because the more information we get out to the residents, the more buy-in we get, the more people want to get involved, the more we're going to collectively move Stafford forward. Thank you.
Anybody else? No, I don't see anybody else. Oh, thank God.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. I want to follow up with that. My name is Joe Longoria, 52-year resident of Stafford. And I've seen a lot of what I used to call, what was addressed as state of the city meetings in public. Now I see we're calling them annual town hall meeting or town meeting. I don't know what the difference is, but I think we are a little bit disappointed at your presentation, Mr. Mayor. Everything almost that you said, we could go to the website and find out what each department does, what their employees are, what their names are, what their responsibilities are, which is what you covered. What was lacking is the office of the mayor. What are your working hours? What is your responsibility? Are you fulfilling that responsibility? Do you have goals yourself to achieve, to look forward, to work with your council on? None of that has come out, and that's part of leadership. We need to get down to the basics. Each of you need to talk to each other, and more so, talk to the community. Thank God for 5 minutes and not 3. But even at that, you can only say so much in 3 minutes. You can only say so much in 5 minutes. So what is the problem with each of you responding to email or text from the residents of the city. What does it take? I love email simply because you're not put in a position where you have to respond right away. You can think about it and can, at your convenience, respond. But even that, weeks go by and no answer, no response, not even an acknowledgement sometimes of having received the email. Why am I saying all this? Because 3 minutes is not enough. And if you stop and think about it, folks, that's the only time we have to actually talk to you as a body. Because if we ask for 3 or 4 of you, that's against the law, supposedly. So why not pacify our needs, knowing that a lot of people don't come to the meetings because what's the use? We sit there and hear the bickering, the discussing, the arguing. And when it's time for us to say something, we are time limited. I don't know about other folks, but I cannot stand having the timer on me while I speak, because what's in my heart takes more time than 3 minutes. What I feel takes more time than 3 minutes. What I can comment on and what I can think about that I can share with you takes more than 3 minutes. So why not? If you get an email from us, at your convenience, respond, communicate. That's how we get ahead. Now, in terms of the property tax, it's been tossed around so many times. And again, I was looking forward to you addressing not only how we're doing now in 2025, how are we going to be looking in 2024, 2026, 27, 28, 29, and 30. 5 years is supposed to be your plan, your strategic plan. You need to plan for 5 years ahead. And the way the sales taxes are not coming in, that's not going to be feasible. Now, Councilman Herrera has proposed a district, financial district type of program or plan. That's great, but it's talk. He proposed it. I don't know what you all have done with it. Have you all talked to each other about it? What's the next plan? Is it going to take another year to come up? And even if it is, think about it. This financial districts will not be the total answer. We need more financial income and revenue in order to satisfy the needs of the residents, the safety and health. The drainage, for God's sake. You didn't even mention drainage, Mr. Mayor. You've mentioned infrastructure. 2 big different words means different things. Drainage, 30 years in the making. No answer, no comment, nothing for us to look forward to. Use us, help us by empowering us. What do you think? We need more of these meetings, but on a smaller scale so that you can determine what can be done right away and not wait. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hello, I'm Liza Mendonça. I live at 12343 Fern Meadow. I do agree that we need better communication, but I think there's some easy fixes. This is just me personally. When instead of telling them, go through a 4-hour video, some websites like some school districts and even some major corporations, they'll just have like frequently asked question guide, like, hey, these are the pressing issues, these are the answers. And I think something as simple as that can help solve a lot of problems. I do want to point out that I like the idea of revitalizing the city, but I also think that we need to pay attention to those businesses that are failing in certain areas that are giving our city a bad reputation. We can't just let, for instance, there's this churches attached to to a gas station in Stafford. I don't want to go there. It's pretty gross. And that kind of stuff gives a bad impression. If you're just stopping there and that's your first impression of Stafford, are you going to want to come back? No, you're not. The other thing I think is important to mention is that we've done a lot of cool things during this whole, I guess you could call it, political season, such as everything that the Parks Committee has done. There's been a lot of great things. The Juneteenth events have been really great. I just think we need to work on the marketing because I don't think enough people know about it, and I think that's a missed opportunity for everyone. The other thing I want to talk about, obviously, we could do a little bit more about the animals. Y'all know I'm pro kitty. Y'all already know my opinion about that, but we can do a little bit more for the animals. What I do want to say, and I say this with respect, that I think no matter where you are on the tax debate, because I'm not going to convince any one of you one way or another, y'all have to be more respectful towards each other because you can't swing a vote if y'all are just tearing each other down. Like, who's going to want to talk to you? But I say this with nothing but respect. I just want y'all to be able to come to an agreement, whether it is having the tax or not, and not encouraging citizens to tear each other down, because all it does is lead to toxic politics. And I would just rather leave that, in other arenas. And even though it is a little bit, I guess, too much of a fantasy, because there's always going to be a little bit of grit and rawness in politics, I still would like to see us being a little bit better about that. I do have a question for you. I know you can't answer questions, but something to think about is, what is the plan for coordinating with SMSD so that residents don't have to pay a property tax and a tax increase for the school bond at the same time? Because the school board's talking about having a potential bond, and those are two, big money issues, and it may not work to y'all's benefit if y'all are both competing against each other. So that might be something that y'all want to dialogue with Dr. Bostic to see how y'all are going to make it work. And I think that's important because some people may be like, oh, I'd rather just support the school district, or, oh, I don't have kids, I'd rather just support the city. So y'all have to come up with a plan, especially if y'all are going to bring up the tax debate again. Other than that, I think it's been a pleasure. I think it's been very, very blessed to be allowed to, do the volunteer work with y'all, and I do appreciate it, and I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day.
Anybody else? I don't see anybody coming up. Some of the questions that raised, the school, especially your mention of school, we don't have any authority to control the school. The tax should be approved by the people. We cannot approve the tax or reduce the tax for the school. And even for the city, it is the people who are deciding whether to go for or not. So that's my answer is. Okay. Oh, okay. Comments by mayor and council members, 5 minutes each. All right. That was my comment. Hi, my comment was, I presented the goals and also the message for the city, and especially I can say, if people accuse of inefficiency of our department, I don't appreciate it. They are very efficient. Like I said in my message, all our departmental heads are very efficient. They are doing their best, what they can do, and that's what I would say in summary. And about the tax that I already mentioned about it, that's it. Anybody else? Okay. Now, Mayor Pro Tem? Yeah. Okay.
Good evening, Stafford residents, esteemed community members. I'm deeply honored to be here tonight to share the state of city with all of you. Before I begin, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our Stafford Fire Chief, Larry DiCamillo, Police Chief, Richard Ramirez, Public Works Director, Mr. Kyle Young, and Director of Stafford Center, Ms. Susan Riggs, and all the first responders and essential workers. Your effort during the last week winter snowstorm was extraordinary. You worked around the clock to ensure our safety and keep our city functional properly. For that, we are incredibly thankful.
Yep.
The past year has been both challenging and exciting. Our city government's been extensive discussion about city property tax. This is a critical issue for our future of our city, and we have many meetings, including special sessions, in deep discussion, carefully evaluate whether we need to implement the city property tax. Our goal is to review the operation need of the city while reducing the financial burden for resident and business owner, ensure all decisions reflect the best interest of our community. Therefore, we believe it is essential to conduct an efficiency audit before we make any major financial decisions. This process will help us thoroughly review the operation of the city government, identify areas we can save costs, and use every dollar to its fully expenditure potentials. The efficiency audit also allows us to determine the true cost for running the city and providing a solid foundation for future financial decisions and guiding us in securing the required funding to maintain city services. We also greatly value the input and suggestion for all the residents and local business owners. Your feedback is important to us as it helps us to better understand the needs of our community and also ensure our policy and our service truly benefit everyone. Together we should support. We can make our city better and stronger. One of my proudest achievements was secure a $250,000 scholarship from Kelsey Siebel Medical Clinic. Last year, we awarded this scholarship for 3 Stafford High School graduates. Each received $10,000 scholarship for their college education. I would like to congratulate these 3 outstanding students. They are Amy Doe, Sharon Lopez, Amina Henderson. I believe their future is full of promise. Personally, I was able to finish my graduate school because I received full scholarship. So I will continue to work hard to bring more opportunity for our students in Stafford. I want to remind everyone, if anybody interested to apply this scholarship, please be aware the application will open in middle of February. Please visit Stafford's website, www.staffordmsd.org, or contact the Stafford Education Foundation for more detail. I would like to take this opportunity to especially thank all the voters who support and trust me during my 3rd term election last year. That vote means a lot to me. I promise to continue to work hard every day to make this city a great place for everyone to live, work, and play. Finally, I want to especially thank Mayor, all my city council members, police chief, fire chief, all the department directors, and all the city employees. Thank you for your hard work and your dedication to our city. That contribute to the success of our city. Most important, I want to thank you all the residents for your support and your encouragement. Let's work together, unite our effort to make Stafford an even greater city, a city we all be proud of. And today, many Asian countries celebrate the Lunar New Year. So I wish everybody have a happy Lunar New Year. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Virginia Rosas.
Thank you, Mayor.
I go by the seniority.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I want to wish everybody a happy New Year's 2025. I hope everybody enjoyed their family and friends and just the joy of the season that we were celebrating. I want to thank SME TV, our multimedia director, and their staff. I want to thank the SMSD and the Board of Trustees for allowing us to use this wonderful facility. And a shout out to Dr. Robert Bostic, who was voted Superintendent of the Year by TASB. Just a great honor for him and the city and the school district. So let me go. I really have nothing really written, but I'm just going to go with the mayor's presentation, and I hope I can get everything in. But we talk about we know what everybody's roles and duties are, so, but we talk about on human resources. Human resources, our staff are our biggest assets. I can totally 100% agree with that statement. But, and let me say this, I'm going to be Debbie Downer tonight because I'm going to tell the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I respect our team here, but I've got my personal opinions on how I view the city, and some of the speakers here have alluded to their feelings. But staff is our greatest assets. We can do policies and push everything out. Without our staff to implement what we put out, they're the ones that make us successful, not us. So for anybody or any of us, what just happened recently, to any way in public denigrate, insult any staff member, it's a tragedy, it's a travesty, and a public apology should be done by that council member to the 3 staff members who are doing a presentation. There was no call for it, and if we're going to appreciate our staff, we need to appreciate our staff. Anything that has to be done, we get our packets 3-4 days ahead of time. It should be done behind closed doors and not in the public view and not televised. So public apology should be done to these 3 individuals since it was done in public. We talk about the Stafford Economic Development Board and our Planning and Zoning Commission, and I'll skip down to one of the goals because we talk about diversity. Well, let me point out that these 2 bodies, these 2 committees, do not have one Hispanic appointed to either one of those committees. The opportunity was there to appoint a Hispanic, but there's not a Hispanic. So to me, you're not living to the diversity part of your goals. So that's number 1. Moving on, our public works. It shows, and numbers and words can be deceiving. It's just the way it's projected out. Yes, there was $2 million, but that was money, that was ARPA money that we're not going to have again. And so it's doing the most we can with the little that we have. And I have to quote this fire chief from Los Angeles, Kristen Crowley, who recently stated that the service delivery model is no longer sustainable. This city has reached its pivot point of being able to move, to do more with less. We have reached our breaking point. And that's where we're at. We reached our breaking point for public works. Look at our streets. Our signs, you can't even read them. They're so faded, and you can't even see our beautiful, wonderful emblem on there. You see the sawhorses in front of City Hall. Our beautiful City Hall. We can't even fix the sidewalks. There's no money. So it's ingenuous to say, we're doing fine, we're great, we have all this money, when it's a red flag right in front of our City Hall waving at you every day with those horses being there. We had 3 members of the community come vote and fall. And that's just not acceptable. So for the theory of no property tax, well, I tell you what, council did something positive. On February the 12th, we're going to have a meeting here because the school board and trustees have allowed us to use this facility again. And we're going to, it's called the Revenue Exploration Workshop. We want all the community to come. We want our business leaders to come. Because if they're saying no to property tax, there has to be another avenue.
Thank you. And the next person, I would say Xavier Herrera. Oh, William Bostic. Sorry.
Greetings, Stafford, America. I'm honored and humbled to be here. When I ran for office 3 years ago, my goal was to make our government more accessible. And I strongly feel that this is the case, and it's happening. During my 3 years on council, our city has accomplished quite a few achievements, including implementing recycling, bringing our Veterans Memorial up to code, collaborating with the Stafford Army JROTC to replace the tattered United States flag, while also participating in our now annual Veterans Day ceremony, commissioned by the Parks Committee to recognize those that served in our community. The Stafford Cemetery on Staffordshire is now officially on the national list of Reefs across America. We're currently 2 servicemen rest, and more research is being conducted to find others in that cemetery that's owned by the city and managed by the city. Martin Luther King Jr. Day was finally recognized as a city holiday, which was long overdue, and we established Juneteenth as an official city holiday. Further, through analytical data capture and being fiscally prudent, we were able to make our Juneteenth celebration sustainable, and I look forward to welcoming y'all to our 3rd annual celebration on June 15, 2025, from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Stafford Center. Due to the success of this event, we were able to collaborate with SMSD to host our annual National Hispanic Heritage Month celebration, which I look forward to later this year in late September or early October. As chairman of the parks, we're moving forward with the replacement of the water fountains in all the parks. They've been off for 5 years, long overdue. But we're also partnering with the SEDC, the Stafford Economic Development Corporation, to overhaul all our city's parks facilities and identify any future expansion opportunities. Recently, we established a drainage committee to specifically address residential issues concerning drainage and flood mitigation. More details will be presented at the February 19th City Council meeting as we make appointments. Several new initiatives that I'll be working on in the coming weeks include partnering with the Texas Workforce Solutions on creating a series of programming to facilitate collaboration with local businesses in the city, which includes a business symposium in March or April. We've already contacted and visited over 80 local businesses, including all the city's hotels. With the assistance of Texas Workforce Solutions, we will be able to produce a census of all the businesses in the city, one of my campaign promises. We can actually have the data to differentiate every industry in the city. Another initiative centers on creating an official 311 system and centralized portal for the city to have an efficient and transparent system to track requests from the public. I personally reported and had replaced over 40 streetlight outages to the center point during my tenure. The underpasses, specifically on Staffordshire, have and continue to be an issue, and we'll be working with TxDOT to address this, including other mobility issues and needs. As a member of the Stafford Economic Development Corporation, we're working on a major thoroughfare street sign replacement project that will address many of the faded signs in our community. Further, I'd like to work with our local vets to establish a pilot program to address the feral cats and stray dogs. Finally, we'll need to conduct an independent performance audit on all the city's departments to ensure that we're running efficiently and identify any waste or bottlenecks. My goal is to continue to enhance the city of Stafford's brand and nurture our community's diversity while continuing to champion our core principle of maintaining zero property tax. I chose to double down on Stafford America, and I feel that this principle will help attract families to our community with the right messaging and outreach. Our city is 7 square miles. Further, we're facing a declining population of 2%, or to put it simply, we've already lost 200 families or people to migration or other circumstances, according to the most recent data published by the Census and American Community Survey. I look forward to helping our city and the school address the challenges ahead, but at the end, I'm honored to know the impact I've made on our community. The goal is, and always was, to get people involved and engaged. Finally, I'd like to thank my mom, my Aunt Deborah in the audience, my dad who's watching on TV, my friends at Texas Workforce Solutions, including James Cardenas, Pastor Paul at Legacy Church, my friends at United Way, Nanco Arrow, the Fort Bend Literacy Council, and to the viewing public, thank you. I want to thank staff for all that they do, but I also want to wish everybody a happy Lunar New Year. This is the year of the snake. My final note is Stafford America is unique, and we will continue to face the challenges head on together. Our city is moving forward. As the late Mayor Scarcell told me years ago, think bigger. Thank you again for listening. Stay safe out there. Check on your friends, family, and neighbors, and much love. Thank you.
Thank you. How about team vote? Xavier Herrera wants to go last.
No problem. Citizens of Stafford, I am grateful for the opportunity and appreciative of the trust that you've given me to have the opportunity to serve on this body. I want to thank our staff. I want to thank our fellow elected officials up here. I want to recognize that despite the challenges of this last year, we have come together on some things. I want to shout out to some of my colleagues up here. I want to give a big shout out to Councilman Bostic, who has really taken initiative with the parks to help not only spearhead the water fountains getting fixed, but also he's brought ideas about how to possibly replace the equipment that we've seen from month after month's meetings need to be replaced because they're dangerous. I also want to thank him for working to get the Drainage Committee. I brought an idea a couple years ago, and he got it through, and I'm happy that we have that, because at the end of the day, what's important is what the residents get, right? And it's the right thing for the community. I want to recognize Councilwoman Rosas, who has really pushed for town hall meetings. I've always been a big advocate of the importance of allowing for feedback from the community, having more of a sit down. We're going to have one coming up on February 12th thanks to her initiative. I want to recognize Councilman Herrera for his initiative for the special use district, and also to put out there the STEP program for our police department. Well deserved, and I'm glad we got it past the finish line. I want to recognize our mayor, who has joined forces to block new warehouses coming for our community, which is the wrong way to bring in new sales tax. Thanking our Planning and Zoning Commission as well for making those recommendations not to approve. So Mayor, thank you for your leadership on that. I want to recognize our Mayor Pro Tem Chin, who is a charitable person who is out there in the community, especially supportive of our school district, the STEM Magnet Academy. And I want to especially appreciate Mayor Pro Tem Chin and Councilman Caldwell, who together have come to do an efficiency audit for our city, which is so important, so that the community can really have buy-in and understanding and have transparency regarding the financial facts that we face. As chair of the Parks Committee, I'm also proud of some of the achievements that I've made and the contributions I've made for this committee. We have brought out our first, with collaboration with the SCDC and obviously all members of the Parks Committee, we had our first Veterans Day event. We repeated that event. It's been a moving ceremony both occasions. I'm very proud of that we're honoring those that have put their lives on the line for our community and for our nation and for the things that we stand for. We also had our very first Earth Day event in collaboration with GFL, highlighting one of our local parks at Rubin Park, which was a great event, family friendly. We also had our very first Ice Cream Day event in collaboration with Southern Ice Cream. We gave out free ice cream to members of the community up in one of our parks in the northern part of the city at Gordon Fountain Lake Park. We also had our very first Stafford Parks Committee movie night, where we were able to, right after the days after Hurricane Beryl, host the community in a fun family free event right here at the Stafford Civic Center, which is a jewel for our community. I'm grateful for my fellow Parks Committee members and also my council members and the mayor up here who have supported these initiatives to help give back to our community and provide opportunities for fun events to bring our community together. That's what it's about. Yes, there's been a lot of bickering. Yes, there's been a lot of frustration. There's been some divisions. But I want to highlight some of the times where we have come together and we have achieved, because I have the hope and the faith that if we can truly put our efforts as one to do what's best for our community. There's no one up here that has the desire for malice, that has the desire to see this city go down in flames. Everyone up here and all of you out in the audience want to see this city succeed. We may disagree about how to get there, but we have the same goal in mind. So let's put our differences aside for a second and be creative. Maybe the solution hasn't come up yet. Maybe someone out in the audience, someone who is not at this meeting, someone who is at this meeting has an idea that will bring our city together and help us achieve the goals. But I do want to be honest. Our city is facing a challenge. Our city is facing hardship financially. The last 2 years that I've had the privilege to serve in this body, we have passed budgets to where we had to borrow from the fund balance. That's not an ideal situation. I'm open to any idea that any of my fellow council members or any member of the community has about how we can close that gap. Because at the end of the day, those budgets aren't just numbers to skew one way or the other. They represent the safety, the security, the livelihood that people expect from their city government. That's what drove me to run for this position. I wanted to see this government efficient. I wanted to see this government responsive to the needs of its citizenry. We can do that, but it does take resources. We can work on making this city better. We can work on revitalizing the island. We can work on making sure that those times for response, when someone's life is on the line and they call 911, are not going up, but those times are going down, that we're able to meet the needs of the community, that our roads aren't full of potholes, that people aren't tripping, that the parks are ones that attract people, that the events that we're able to host bring people here, that people don't have to outsource to Sugar Land or to Missouri City or to the city of Houston to have a good time in their own neighborhood. We can do those things, but it does take resources, and it's our task to be creative. Thank you. Please come with your ideas. I respond to your emails. My email is twood@staffordtx.gov. I will respond to your email. I'm open to ideas. I'm open to working with my colleagues and with the mayor to achieve an excellent 2025. Thank you.
Thank you. How about Xavier Herrera, Councilman?
Thank you very much. I'm batting cleanup tonight, aren't I? There's a lot to say within the short time here, but I want to go ahead and first thank Stafford SME TV for televising this. I see Mr. Frith and his staff, and they're always doing a great job. So I appreciate y'all, because y'all are the folks behind the scenes and the camera there. Also want to go ahead and recognize Stafford MSD for the use of this facility. Here with us today we have Mrs. Patricia Montalongo with the Stafford MSD School Board. Thank you very much for everything that you do for our community. You know, I also would be really remiss if I didn't recognize our police, fire, and public works and all other city departments during this recent winter storm. I believe it's named Enzo, I believe it is. Not to go ahead and be confused with Enzo Ferrari. But you know, their due diligence and the time they took away from their family and what they showed in their commitment to our community is bar none 110% appreciated. I also want to go ahead and thank Councilmember Bostic for mentioning National Hispanic Heritage Month. But I would be really remiss not to go ahead and mention the committee that went ahead and created this, and I was really honored to be the chairman. With me, when I first brought this up, I had mentioned this to Councilmember Virginia Rosas, and she went ahead, worked with me, and ran with it and got it done, so I want to recognize her and her efforts. I also have with us today Police Chief Richard Ramirez, who's also a member of that and did a lot of hard work and sweat, tears, and whatnot. And of course, obviously, I'm going to go ahead and segue back. Last but not least, Mrs. Patricia Montalongo, and at this particular time, I'm going to call her Mrs. Patricia because she wasn't serving. At least most of the time, she wasn't serving as a school board trustee. So thank you very much for everything that you and your family did on behalf of this, recognizing this very worthwhile event and month for our community, which is a quite substantial amount of people within the Stafford community. So I have some drafted remarks that I'd like to go ahead and read. I know everybody was kind of going off in their deal there, but I want to thank the mayor, department directors, and everyone working hard for the betterment of our community. Your dedication to Stafford is truly appreciated. I also want to thank everyone here and those watching at home. Your engagement is vital in shaping our city's future. So thank each and every one of y'all for being here and voicing your thoughts. You know, today's state of the city was insightful. I know this year's budget presents challenges, but we're committed to making strategic decisions that prioritize the well-being of our residents. Your input is invaluable as we navigate through these tough times. We're grateful for your understanding and support, and I continue to encourage each and every one of you to please voice your thoughts. Together, we'll continue to find creative solutions to keep Stafford moving forward. I also want to continue to encourage everyone to get involved and volunteer to help our community flourish. Whether it's helping your residents, your fellow neighbors, let's all get together during these trying times, and please, please, please work with each other. I can't thank you all enough, and I thank you all again for being here. And know that the mayor, council, and city staff are here to make our community a better home for all. And with that, Mayor, I tried to go ahead and keep it as short and sweet as I can because you know I hate long meetings and long discussions and whatnot. So hopefully I was able to go ahead and cut this as short as I could for you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So everybody here spoke. So the next one is comments by Mayor. No?
We did already.
Oh, did it already? Oh, we can go home, eh? Agenda item number 5, adjournment. Thank you. That was good. 8:11.